Good one. Okay. All right, my darlings. We have now our final guest speaker. This is Java, and he's going to talk to you about drag and gender and the idea of like doing drag and what it all means. And he also brought some pictures, which is going to be very exciting. So we'll go ahead and let you have the floor.
Okay. Hey everybody. Well, this is new for me, so I've never done a speech about doing drag and everything. So I guess starting out, I started doing drag about 10 years ago. I do it under the name of Nia D'Angel. I had a show at a club in East Atlanta called My Sister's Room, and I did that for a while. I think the biggest part of it is drag is an expression. It's an expression of self. It's an art form, and it's, in my opinion, it's paying homage to the strong women around me and the strong women that I look up to. So I use it as a way to pay homage to that. A lot of it is the art of doing makeup, the art of illusion, the art of being something else, or expressing yourself through another means. And I find it very freeing and very you get to be something more than yourself when you're performing, and that's one of the things that made me feel comfortable with it. I didn't start out knowing that I was going to go right into drag, because I started doing Rocky Horror first. I don't know if anybody is familiar with the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Okay. I've been doing that over at the Plaza Theater in Midtown for the past 15 years. So that's kind of where it kicked into gear, and I started learning how to do makeup there, and all that led to going into drag, because then friends of mine were like, hey, let's dress up and go out, and I was like, oh, I don't know, because I was afraid more than anything of what people would say and things like that. So, but when I did it for the first time, we were doing karaoke, and I dressed up to go out for karaoke, and then it just kind of clicked that, okay, I can do this. And so I began creating Nia D'Angel, which is my drag persona. And from there, I learned more about myself, because there was a confidence that came from taking on that persona and becoming her. And I felt myself feeling like I could be whatever I wanted to be, or do certain things that I couldn't normally do while I was her. So it was almost like a way to find like an inner strength, if that makes sense. So that was one of the things that kept me going with it. So a couple of hurdles that I went over with it. My mom knows to do it, so that was fun. My mom found out that I was doing drag, because she kind of figured once I started doing Rocky Horror, because she knew I was obsessed with Rocky Horror. And so when she saw me start doing Frankenfurter, she was like, okay, all right, well, that's probably a natural progression. That's going to come next. So the first time she ever saw me do it, she didn't want me to come over. And I was like, well, Mom, I have a show tonight. I kind of have to dress up and go to my show. She's like, well, just get ready here. Just get ready here. I'm like, okay. I'm just telling you. And so at the time, I had a little brother. He was like, he couldn't have been more than like 4 or 5 at the time. And my grandmother was staying with her. And my grandmother had never seen me do any of this stuff. So, and I was still getting over the whole her knowing that I'm gay thing. And like, she didn't take that very well at all. I'll go into that later. So I got ready. I went and started putting my stuff on. Actually, I have a picture of that, but I didn't put it on there. I wish I did, but I can probably find it. So I started getting ready, and as I'm doing my thing, my little brother comes in, and he's just fixated on the fact that the transformation of my face from my face to her face. And he's just asking questions the whole time, being an inquisitive little 4 or 5 year old. And I was like, for one moment I was like, should I be letting him watch me do this? But then I thought, I was like, I don't think there's any harm in him watching me do this, because it's just me putting on makeup. That's all there is to it. And I don't think it's going to like damage him at all. You know, if anything, it'll make him ask questions, and that's what I would want him to do as a growing kid, is to ask questions and try to figure it out for himself. So he saw me do the whole process, get everything together. Of course, I had to push him out of the room for the more private parts of it. But and so when I came out, my mom was just floored, and she was going crazy. But then my grandmother came in, because my mom said, "Mom, come here, come and see this, come and see this." And so my grandmother came in, and I think that was the first time that I ever got hit with a negative feeling for it, because the look on her face just sank. And it was really heartbreaking. But at that point in time, I also had to realize I'm not doing it for her, I'm doing it for me. And that was one of the things that also solidified my confidence in Nia, was that moment realizing that I have to do this for me, because it makes me feel comfortable. It makes me feel like I can express myself the way I want to. And her opinion, and RuPaul said something that was really inspiring, and she said that what somebody else thinks about you is none of your business. And I think that makes a whole lot of sense, because everybody has opinions. Everybody has ways that they think. Everybody has ways they view people. But unless that directly affects you, it doesn't matter. What matters is how you feel about yourself and how you present yourself, or how you want to present yourself. So I feel like that was one of those turning points that really made me embrace doing what I was doing. So I'm gonna show a couple pictures real quick of what I look like. Okay, cool. Let's see.
I'm gonna turn off this light behind you just for maximum picture viewing.
Well, that's me as a little boy. I don't know why I put that in there. I'm like literally 4. Let's see. There's 4 there. Oh, my prom picture. I don't know why I put that in there either. But this is me as Frank-N-Furter. I'll let you see that first. That's what I did at Rocky Horror. That's what started it all. and I also got to meet Barry Bostwick, which was really cool. He played Brad Majors in the original Rocky Horror, and we perform at Dragon Con every year. So he had opened up for us at Dragon Con, and I got to meet him. It was really cool. I even got put on Squidbillies for doing Frank-N-Furter, so there's that.
Oh.
And I thought that was really cool that they asked me could they use my likeness. So I was like, all right, sure. Then there's Nia, which is right here. Oops. Can I zoom in? Yeah. All right. That's me right there. And my drag went on, and I started doing more shows and doing more appearances. And eventually, I think what ultimately stopped me performing was there was a situation to where we had a show on Halloween about, I want to say, 6 years ago. And we had this promoter that was there. We were supposed to get a percentage of the bar, and we were supposed to get a percentage of the bar, and we were supposed to get our tips like normal. And what wound up happening is it was a Halloween night, and I already told him, I was like, I might not be able to do it because Rocky Horror has a big show on Halloween. So what happened is the people that went, they did the show. It was a big show. It was great, but the dude ran off with all the bar money that we were supposed to get. Everybody was supposed to get a cut of the bar. And after that, I was just like, oh, they put a really bad taste in my mouth. And so I turned to YouTube. So now I do a drag talk show on YouTube called Tea Time. I've done about 5 seasons of it. We review movies, we review RuPaul's Drag Race. It's pretty fun. And that's where I've been doing the most of my drag as of late. And then I make appearances at conventions and stuff like that. And it's really cool. But And most of it, I think, with drag, there's a correlation between drag and being gay. Yeah, obviously, but you don't have to be gay to do drag. You don't have to be a gay person to do drag. There are women that do drag, do female drag. There are straight men that do it. There are bi men that do it. Everybody. It's not limited to just one gender to do it. The whole, to quote the other girl that you saw with the extravagant makeup, she said that female drag queens are paying homage to the drag queens that pay homage to the women. So it's like a big circle, so it's really cool. So it's very interesting to see female drag queens because they put in just as much work as we do. I mean, they don't have to stuff or do anything like that mostly, but they still contribute to the culture, and I think it's important. Just like there are male impersonator drag queens, which is very interesting to see. The big part about drag is more self-expression than anything. It's the art form of creating the illusion that you're somebody else or something else, and I think that's the important part of it. As far as growing up gay with it, the opposition was more so from my grandmother. It's because I lived with her, and I lived off and on with her and my aunt and my mom. And my aunt found out early on that I was gay. We had one conversation and then it was glazed over and she didn't care anymore. So I was like very, very fortunate in that respect. Because she overheard me talking to my best friend, who was the guy in that picture as well, about something that I saw on television, and the conversation got very gay very quick. And she walked in on the conversation. She said, could you hang up the phone real quick? I was like, okay. So I was like, I told him I'd call him back. She was like, did I just hear you call a man sexy? I was like, yeah. She's like, oh, okay, I was just making sure. So you're gay? I was like, yeah? She's like, okay, well, your mom's gay too. That's cool. All right, you can go back to your phone conversation. I just want to know. And then she walked out of the room, and that was it. And I was like, all right. And so I called my best friend back. I was like, yeah. So Lucy just found out. She's like, what did she do? She's like, nothing. He was like, really? I was like, yeah, that was it. But, and then when my mom found out was from an old boyfriend who I had snuck over to the house because he was having family issues or whatever. And I told him, you can't keep sneaking over here because my mom's going to eventually find out, and I don't want her to know, because I tried to come out to her when I was 14 after my first boyfriend, and that didn't go so well. So I was really, really scared about my mom finding out. And so he's like, I'm going to tell her. He would always joke about that. It's like, the day you tell my mom is the day we are no longer together. That's just it. And so I was 16. So he came over again, and my mom was home. And she came to the door. I was in the kitchen cooking. And she was like, your friend's here. I went, what? And so I looked and I was like frozen. I was like, oh crap, he's here. Oh crap, what am I going to do? So she walks into the kitchen. And my other aunt and uncle knew that I was gay and that I was kind of slipping and seeing him. But they knew not to say anything. But they sat down on the couch and they were like, dude, this about to be good. So my mom backs him up into the corner. And I'm sitting there against the fridge, like freaking out. And she's like, so, how do you know my son? And he's, you know, the classic, like, mom breakdown. And he was like, oh, Dad, oh, Buzz, blah, blah, blah. He's like, okay, well, do you go to school? And she's like, yeah, I go to school. And that's she asked where. And then she was like, so, do you have a girlfriend, or is it the other way around? And he went, oh, it's the other way around, without hesitation. And I was like, shut up. And so then she's like, oh, okay. So she looks back at me and she looks back at him. She's like, so who's your boyfriend? And he just like froze and he looked at me. Then my aunt and uncle looked at me. And then my mom did that slow. And I was like, oh God. And she's like, Jabba! And she grabbed me and pulled me into the bathroom. And she just asked me, she's like, why didn't you tell me you were gay? I was like, Mom, I tried to tell you when I was 14. She's like, you were 14. I was like, I know, but I tried to tell you. She's like, well, I didn't want this for you. I was like, I'm sorry. It was like, I couldn't help this. And she was like, well, it's just going to be a really hard life for you, and I don't want something to happen. And Mom, I was like, I know. And it's like, we just have to be careful. And does he treat you well? I was like, yeah, he does. And he's like, do you love him? I was like, I think so, maybe. It's like, well, as long as he treats you nice, that's all I care about, as long as you're happy. And I was like, yeah. And so she hugged me, we cried a little bit, came back out, and she went, so son-in-law, and I went, and almost passed out. So that, my mom glazed over nicely. However, my grandmother was a completely different story. So me and her have been in opposition ever since she had an inkling that I might be gay. And so what tipped the scales with her was she found a note that I'd been passing with another boy in class in my book bag, because she just decided to randomly go through my book bag, which I hated, because she knew that I doodled in between like classwork and stuff like that, and she was mad that I was doing that. And so she initially went through my bag to see if I had any sketchbooks or stuff like that. She was going to make a big to-do about it and take it out and all this stuff. So she found that, and that just made her go, hey, okay, I don't want to curse. It just made her lose her mind.
You can, it's okay.
So she pulls the letter out, she's like, what is this? And I was like, oh God. And so then she starts going off about all this stuff. She's like, you know, get AIDS, you know, this, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, oh my God. And so she took my sketchbook out and one by one ripped out all the pages, threw it away. And she took out my composition book, and she took it that I was writing stories in and everything like that. And then she pulled, because I was living in the room with my uncle at the time, and she pulled me out of the room with him and like quarantined me off in the living room. And these 2 blankets she stapled to the ceiling and put all my stuff inside there, and like kind of just made me stay in this little tent that she had set up. And then she started making me eat out of plasticware and stuff like that. I couldn't go in the fridge. I couldn't get on the phone and talk to anybody without her knowing who I was calling. I couldn't go outside without her knowing where I was going, or come home, or bring any friends over. And it just became a nightmare. But we made it through, because eventually I had just gotten fed up with that, and I left. I just left, and I went to my aunt's house. And that was a big life changer there, because she understood. She understood. She had my back against my grandmother there. Now, years moving forward, she's had to like deal with it, because I'm an adult now and there's nothing much she can do. So, but she's still that struggle back and forth. Like, it's like she accepts it, but she doesn't accept it. So it's like she's a big hurdle. But when she found out I was doing all this other stuff, that just like fixed her. She was just like, oh, he's going to become a woman, he's going to do this and everything like that. And I was like, well, I don't want to become a woman. I love paying homage to women, but I don't want to become a woman. I think with drag though, for a lot of people that are transgendered, it's a nice way to bridge that gap for them, to open up the door to say, hey, this is what you really are. Because I've known many drag queens too start doing drag, and then all of a sudden that door opens up for them. They realize, oh wait, I was supposed to be this anyway, and then that starts them on their path, which is also good. So drag is very therapeutic in that way. You get to not only be somebody else or explore different parts of yourself, but sometimes it tells you something about yourself you didn't know. So it's always fun to at least try to do. And I encourage it, I do. I encourage anybody to just try it, wants to be something, step outside of your box. But it's really fun, and I've enjoyed it, and I've had some success from it. I've been doing this for a while. So, yeah, so that's pretty much where my experience lies with it. I think it's opened up a lot of doors for me. I've been on a couple television shows as well as Nia, and I've been, like I said, to a bunch of conventions for it and everything like that. So in a lot of ways it's helped broaden my experience and enrich my life by giving me experiences I wouldn't normally get to do. So, but yeah, that's pretty much my story. And if anybody has any questions, I'm very much open to them. Trying to think of anything else to tell you about. Oh, the difference between what I do at Rocky Horror and drag. Well, there's not a whole lot of difference except for with Rocky Horror, it's more. Frankfurt is more of a transvestite than a drag queen, because transvestite enjoys just the feeling of lingerie and women's clothing and stuff like that, as opposed to someone that's transsexual that wants to become another gender. So I feel in that respect, it just pretty much opened the door for drag for me, but I don't really consider Frankfurt a drag, even though it kind of is. It's a weird gray area for me, but it's just what helped me get into the drag lifestyle that I got into. It's very expensive. It's very, very expensive, but sometimes you can find ways of doing it for less expensive ways. And I've had to do that, like at the beginning when I was starting out, trying to figure out how to do this and how to do that. And over time, as I perfected makeup and things like that, different people taught me things. And there are little tricks of the trade to make things look new, even though they aren't. So that's some other things that you get to learn in doing it. But yeah, that's what started it all for me, is this. So I'm really excited about it. Yes?
So I know a few people that do drag, but I've never been able to ask them this question, so hopefully I can ask you.
You can ask me whatever.
So you said that you have like this alter person that you are when you put on your drag. Is that like, is there any changes that you have like when you're you now and like when you put on this alter persona? Like I've never understood like the different, when they say alter persona, I was like, okay, do you have a different personality? Do you do things different? Like I've never really understood that part.
Well, in a way, yeah. Okay, so it's the whole putting on a mask analogy, where people are more inclined to do stuff when people don't see your face that you wouldn't do normally. And in putting this on, I get this other like confidence boost, because I feel more beautiful, I feel more confident, I feel more sexy sometimes. So it gives me this other confidence to do things that I wouldn't normally do, or say things that I wouldn't normally say. And I equate that to Nia's personality, even though deep down it's in here. And sometimes I use it in my day-to-day, but more so with Nia, because I feel that that confidence is there more so when I'm dressed up, if that makes any sense. Yeah. That's on the other hand. Yes?
So I guess like I've always known that, you know, you don't have to, like a lot of people are just, they automatically think that you do drag and everything. And I know that there's some people that do it and they're not gay. So like, I guess my question is like, is there a difference in why they do it? Like I understand when it's like, mainly for expression and stuff, but like, have you noticed any difference, I guess?
Between straight drag queens and gay drag queens?
With like the gay community versus like,
well, I'll tell you, it's sometimes harder. It all depends on where you're at. Like different regions, different places handle it differently. But what I've experienced, like Atlanta embraces you as a drag queen no matter what you are, which is the fun part. But there was, in the show that I had, there was one guy that was straight that did drag. He was phenomenal. Like, he was amazing. He said that it just gives him the ability to not give a fuck. That's what he was saying. So he gets into this persona, and he's like, gets to be everything that's in the back of his mind that he feels that would be socially unacceptable. He can do it. So, like, just like what I said with me, when I get into it, I can do things that I wouldn't normally do. It's the same for him. So I feel like all the boxes that are put on labeling what you are as straight, gay, bi, all that other stuff, when he steps into that, all that goes out of the window, and he's just who his persona is. He's just free to do what comes to his mind and feel what he wants to feel. You know, he's all over the place, like sitting all over folks, and hanging from stuff and doing cartwheels. I was amazed. I was like, really? So he's better at it than a lot of people I've seen. So it was really good to see that happen. But yeah, I feel like that's more the thing. And different places will probably accept him more than other places. Other places will be like, oh, you're appropriating, you're not really gay, and you shouldn't be a drag queen, but that doesn't matter. So that's what I feel about it. Anything else? Yes.
I was wondering, what makes drag the expensive? Is it like the clothes? Or?
It's the clothes. It's okay. So when you have a show, they expect you to have a new outfit every night.
Oh.
So they don't expect you to show up with the same thing twice. And I've gotten very good at making the same 5 outfits look like 12. So you kind of have to learn these little tricks of the trade as it goes along, because yeah, it can rack up a pretty penny. Not always do you make the money out of tips and everything like that when you're doing drag to afford that lifestyle. So it's a very expensive lifestyle, and you have to really grind at it to make a career out of it. But those that do, I have so much respect for them, because they are living the dream that they want. They're living the life that they want. So, but it is something that you can make a living doing, because many drag queens do. But yeah, it's the clothes, makeup, and the jewelry are the most expensive part of it. Yes.
So do you feel like your alter ego enables you to kind of take on the characteristics that you like want for yourself?
Absolutely, absolutely. Like me, myself, like this is terrifying for me. Like I was like getting up in front of people talking. Even though I do this show every week, I have to kind of like invoke her to do that show, because like I got thrust into hosting the show. Let's say I directed the cast for 2006 and 7 and 8, and my first day directing, we got a brand new stage at the theater, and I had to reblock the entire show, and then host the show, all right before we went on. And I was just like, okay, we're doing this. So I had to just find that like confidence to come out, and then I think that birthed into what created Nia eventually. So it's a thing that like helps me be confident and helps me speak to people. But like generally I'm really shy. So but when I'm her, I feel like I don't have to be. I can be free to talk to whoever I want to. And sometimes that applies outside there. I try to apply it when I can, but I feel more free to do it when I'm dressed up, if that makes sense.
I wore a blue wig for Halloween. Like, I was just dressing as an alien, but I put on the blue wig and I saw myself. I looked so different in the mirror with my blue hair. And I was like, who is she?
Exactly.
What do I want for myself that I can kind of like give my blue hair? Like, I just was like, my hair made a difference.
It does.
And it just made a difference. And then I was more confident, and the way I was talking to people, and even the next day I went to work and I was like, you know what, I'm not taking any shit today.
There it is. There it is right there. Something about drag just makes you just say, fuck it. That's just it. Because like, I'll have a moment when we'll be going out after we've done a show and everything like that, and I'm still all fully done up and stuff, and I'll be like, screw it, I'm going to him get me a drink, and I'll walk right in, and the heads will turn, and be like, oh my God. I was like, yeah, I'm here. You see it? You see it? Take a picture. Bye, and then I leave. So I mean, you just don't care anymore, because you're in your element, you're in yourself, and it gives you a great sense of self too. Because accepting yourself as this, I feel, helps you accept yourself personally. Like the things that you wouldn't like about yourself, you find that you like in yourself once you stepped into another person's shoes, as it were. Because then you get to reflect to see, how am I different from this person? And it helps you figure those things out and embrace those things about yourself that you didn't know, that you didn't acknowledge. And so I find it very, very freeing. It helps me like bridge a lot of gaps whenever I get to dress up. So it's really, really awesome in that sense.
Yeah, so in the beginning, were there any times where you're like, so what would Nia do in this situation?
Oh yeah, that comes up a lot. Like I'll have situations much like this, like where I'm like, okay, I have to speak to these people. Okay, just gotta bring it together and do it. And or whenever I have to host a show, I have to become super animated and it takes a lot out of me, because like I can only do social stuff for so long, then I have to like recluse. I'm like, all right, gotta recharge. Okay, I'm back at it. So I find channeling that helps me out a great deal because it helps me to open myself up. So it brought a whole new part of myself into being, which I'm really happy about.
Okay. It's probably been asked before, but I just got here, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's pretty basic. So I guess what's first initially got you into drag, and whether the way to like express like your full fluidity of gender and whatnot, or
Well, like I said, I did answer this actually, but what got me into it is I started doing Rocky Horror, and that kind of just was like a gateway into doing it, because then I learned how to do makeup and everything like that. And one night we decided to go out to karaoke and dress me up fully. So I borrowed my friend Tori's like red prom dress that she had, and I had that on, and she had a blonde wig, so I borrowed that, and I did my face up. And then when we were sitting there, I didn't tell this part. We were sitting there, it's like, Java, what are we gonna call you? And I was like, I don't know. But so I sat there for a minute, and I was thinking of my online moniker that I used to use on all my chat room stuff, and that's Neo Dark Angel. And so I was like, huh. And so I just kind of like, it just Nia D Angel came out of that. I was like, there you go, there's my name. And so I put it in for karaoke, and then when I heard it said back, I was like, huh, I think that's my name. Okay, and then so that's when it started.
Who introduced you to Rocky Horror? Did you go to a show? And you
Okay,
this is it?
that's a fun story. So back in 2001, God, I'm dating myself. Back in 2001, I was doing Fright Fest at Six Flags, and I've been doing that for that season, and then they had a year-round haunt the next year, so I did that too. And all my friends in the haunted house, I would come in shy, but then I would transform whenever I put on all my costumes and everything like that. And so my one friend, April, was like, you know what? We got on this conversation about Rocky Horror because I was obsessed with it. I just discovered it a couple years before, and I was like devouring everything I could about Rocky Horror. And so we got on this conversation about it, and my friend April was going around naming everybody who was there who they would be if we had a Rocky cast. And everybody kept saying, Java, you'd be Frankenfurter, you'd be Frankenfurter. I said, no, I wouldn't. What are y'all talking about? I said, Java, you would be Frankenfurter. And I was like, I guess. And so, because I just never thought I would be able to, because there was a lot of things at the time, like, because I had never seen a black person be Frankenfurter. And there are stage shows of it too. That's where it started. And I'd never seen a black person do that either. And so I was like, there's no chance I could do that. And so she was like, my birthday was coming up, and she was like, came up to me as we were getting done, and she was like, don't take your makeup off. I was like, what are you talking about? Don't take your makeup off. I'm taking you to see Rocky Horror. And I was like, what? She was like, yeah, I'm taking you for your birthday. We're going to see Rocky Horror. I was turning 19. And so she took me back to her house. She put me in like a corset, some leather pants of hers, and went out to Rocky Horror. And this is me walking up with these 3 girls on me. And Candace, who runs Rocky Horror, she saw me say, wait, you're going to come back next week. You're going to join the cast. You're going to be our new dear Frankenfurter. I went, what? She's like, yeah. So I was like, what? She was like, no, you can't just walk up here looking like that and not join this cast. So I was like, okay. So I came in and I signed up. And like at the time I was like rail thin. And I came with this like gold makeup on that she had glittered in eyebrows and gave me like this glitter red lipstick. And I had my braids pulled back into like 2 pigtails, and it was crazy. And so the very next week, I didn't come back next week because I got a corneal abrasion. But the week after that, I came back, and I had never worn heels before. I had never walked in them or anything. So when I came back the next week to the cast meeting, they said, okay, at the end of the month, Job is going to be starting Frank. And I was like, okay. So I took that month to learn how to walk in heels. So I took 2 hours out of every day and just walked in them. And did everything around the house in them and everything like that. I bought the shoes that I was going to wind up being in on the stage like we used to. And then after about a couple weeks, it just became second nature. And I could hop on the heels and like hit cartwheels and flips and stuff and do anything. I could run in them. And it's nothing for me now. But at that time, I was so nervous that I wanted to make a good impression. So every cast meeting, I just wore my fishnets and heels to get used to being in front of people in my underwear. Because I wasn't, not at all. And so that happened. And then finally, when the day came, I did it, super nervous, and first time I ever had it, I got a standing ovation at the end of the show. And I didn't see that coming. I just burst into tears. I didn't know what to do. And I was just like, oh my God. And everybody said, oh, and they like all grabbed me and hugged me because I had never had that experience before. I was so overwhelmed, and then I got Dragon Con Frankfurt for the next year. And the same thing happened again. I got overwhelmed and started crying then too. It was a mess. I was a big old blubber mess. Because in my heart, it felt like I connected so much with Frankfurter that I didn't ever think I was going to get to, and then now I'm getting to, and then all these people are embracing me for it. So it just meant that much more, which is why I'm still doing it 15 years later. So it's a huge thing, and that giving way to Nia opened up a whole other big door of something I never thought I'd do, because I didn't ever think I would be doing drag ever. Like when I was younger, and even though I knew I was like, I am the most uncoordinated gay person I know. Like my fashion sense is crap, and like in my day to day, and so I was like, how the heck am I going to be a drag queen? This is just going to be terrible. This is going to be a disaster. But I wound up working it out, and it wound up just coming to me, like as I did it more, and as I learned more from other drag queens, and as I watched more stuff online about it, it just manifested and it just exploded. So that's how that happened.
How did you incorporate your drag queen into Dragon Con?
Dragon Con? Well, it's a much bigger audience, so it's full on. Well, okay, so there's two personas I have to work with. Because when I'm Frankenfurter, I'm Frankenfurter. When I'm Nia, but there are elements of both in each one of them that I do. So for that, I like try to merge both of them for the Dragon Con show, which comes out real crazy. But we performed for easily about 3,000 to 5,000 people for that show. And that's like, my heart's doing this the whole time. So a part of it is just going into it and just letting Nia or Frankfurt take over and just doing the show, just giving them all the energy I can, and giving them all the confidence and all the life I can. So in a way, it helps keep me up. It keeps me from running. It keeps me from being scared of it, because that confidence kicks in, that adrenaline kicks in, and then boom, there goes the show. So.
Do you do that at a direct con? I mean, where is the show facilitated?
This show, the Plaza Theater at on Ponce de Leon, Ponce North Highway, right there. That's where we do it at.
And that's the same show that you do for, same place you do for
Dragon Con. Dragon Con happens at the Hyatt Hilton. It takes over the Big Five downtown. So I do it at the Hyatt. We do the big show at the Hyatt. They open up all the Centennial ballrooms 1 through 4, and they fill people in there, and then we do the show. It's like crazy. But it's. You do?
I just didn't know they had a show there.
Oh.
It's not.
I didn't think. I wasn't ready. Yes.
What's your style of drag? Like, are you like a dancing queen or a comedy queen? Like, what do you do?
Okay, so that was one of those things that I had to try to figure out at the beginning, because a lot of people ask me that too. What's going to be your shtick? More so, I wound up becoming a mixture of a dancing queen and a diva queen. Like, I find that when I do more diva numbers, I feel like I look better and I present better. And I can do dancing numbers as well, and I generally do dancing numbers as well.
Can you explain the difference?
The difference? Okay, so dancing queens are more queens that just put on a dance show and lip sync. They generally have some sort of routine that they've worked out, and they perform it. Comedy queens take the whole gimmick and make a comedic like skit out of it or when they do drag, to where everything they're doing is made to make you laugh and made to enjoy it like that. There's pageant queens who are just do pageants and shows and things like that and do it for the glam and everything like that. They don't really perform or anything like that. They're a spectacle. There's the what they call genderfuck queens, where it's like androgynous, where you're in drag, but it's hard to tell what gender you are, and that's really cool. I tried that one time and it didn't work out too well, but I tried it. So there's that. Then there's so many, and I can't remember all of them off the top of my head. There's the grunge queens that look like real dirty and like real pumped out and stuff like that. Those are fun to watch, but they're scary. They're real fun to watch though. So I think I'm more just in like diva style. Like I'm like when I do tea time, I'm more reserved. I sit there like polite, while the other two of them are really boisterous. So it's like we counterbalance each other because I'm the one that mediates and keeps everybody together. But when I perform, I guess it's all based on whatever song I'm doing. So, but I tend to do songs that make it so where I can really like perform and like showcase myself. And like I might dance here or there. Like I have a couple numbers where I actually dance, but more so it's just to perform.
How big is the turnout at the Rocky Board?
It varies. It varies season to season. We just hit our big high time, so for the past like 3 months, we've been almost selling out every night. Then right after we've just like after Halloween, it drops off again. We might get like 30 to 50 people around the winter, going back into the spring. Then spring we pick up again, and then we get a whole bunch of new cast members because all the kids are coming in from school or going out for school and stuff like that. And then the summertime explodes again. So it all depends on the time of year as how much attendance we get. So, do you have another question? Okay. Yes.
I mean, I have a question that's bothering me like for a long time when it comes to like ducking.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Like tucking?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't know how you do it, but
I can explain it. It's kind of graphic, but I can
need to
explain
know
it.
more because I feel like, for example, especially for us guys, sometimes you can have like an erection or something like that.
Well,
And then if you are talking again, doing a show, I can't imagine how uncomfortable it can be.
I've got
In
a
a way,
story.
I don't
I've got
know.
a story. Okay, so tucking is very important. A proper tuck, you won't be able to get a decent erection because even if you do, it'll be so uncomfortable that you'll be like, all right, walk away, because it ain't going nowhere. But my story, I'll tell the story first, then I'll explain how tucking works. Because I feel like you'll get a better appreciation of it if I tell you the story first. So we were doing this show, where were we? Oh, I got to do a show at La Buzz before it closed. It was a gay club in Marietta. And we were doing this big number, and there's this guy who's like super hot. And like, when I came over to get a tip from him, he just straight up kissed me. Like, there was no, like, it was like money and then lip lock. And I was just like, okay. And then I felt it, and I was like, oh shit. So it started like pulling and pulling and pulling. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to like sink back all the way over here and let the other girls do their thing for a minute while I try to settle this, because otherwise we're gonna have a bad scene. Now the reason we have a bad scene is because the way the tucking works is, all right, so here comes the graphic part. I'm so sorry, y'all. Men, when their testicles descend, they come from a little pouch, like right up in here. What you do is you put them back up there, and then you take your jump, and you have to pull it between your legs, up to pretty much as far back as you can take it. And then you either use gaff tape or a gaff, like which is like a square. It's almost like a dance belt. If anybody knows what a dance belt is, it's like a G-string thing that you put on that keeps everything laid down. Once you get everything in place, you put the tape on, you put the gaff on so that it doesn't go anywhere. And the whole purpose is to make it as flat as possible. And some queens are amazing with this with little tape. And once it's there, erections are a problem because that tape will pull. And ouch. But once you're up here and once you're taped, these don't go anywhere. So hopefully you don't get hit there because all your junk's up here now. And it stays there for the whole time you do it. And once you undo it, everything falls back into place. So it's uncomfortable, but you lose, I hate to say this, you lose feeling after a while if you've been in drag for a minute. So you don't even notice after like a couple minutes of being in it and doing your thing, because you have that, then you have your pantyhose that you have on and whatever padding you put on. So there's a lot going on in that area. So those guys are like, oh, let's go and hook up after this, baby. I was like, you don't want none of that. I've been sweating, everything's going on down here. You don't want it. Because there are guys that just really get into drag queens like that, and I'm just like, can I call you tomorrow? Take a shower first. You can do this, cause you know. But yeah, that was learning. That was probably one of those experiences. Luckily, I learned it from a drag queen that I was talking to at the time, so she taught me how to do it. So I was like, all right, there you go. So it was a comfortable situation to learn how to do it. But whew, it was an experience the first time I did it. I was just like, and how am I supposed to? Okay, it's up there. It's happening. So yeah.
So no bathroom, man.
Oh no, there's no bathroom. There's no bathroom unless you to go to the bathroom just to pee. It's literally a 30-minute experience because you got to go in there, you got to untape things, you got to unadjust things, do your business, then make sure everything's dry and clean, and put everything back to where you put it. And it's just this whole experience. So I don't go to the bathroom. I go make sure I get a good one in before I put it all on, and then I'm just in it until I'm done. So my favorite lazy drag is when I have a nice big poofy dress where I don't have to worry about it. I'll just like put on me some like compression shorts and like, you know what? Ain't nobody see it today. Walk on around. So there's some cheats here and there that I embrace when I can. But yeah, it's a thing. Yes.
Do you have a favorite character that you play? Would you say that like Nina?
Nia the Angel. Well, I don't really go into extra characters when I'm Nia. I just do different looks based on what song I'm doing. But I think my favorite song I ever performed was this mashup of Commander by Kelly Rowland and The Devil Wouldn't Recognize You by Madonna. And it was really awesome. Oh, no, I take it back. I did a Rolling in the Deep and Toxic mashup at the Buzz. That one was super fun. And I had like this fishnet dress on and like these bikini underwear. And I was tucked pretty good, so you can see nothing going on. And everything was see-through, so I was like bra and panties were showing through everything. And I did it. And I had like these 6-inch shoes with like this corseted back to them. It was really awesome, and like it was the first time I had boofed up my hair because my friend was like, "You would look so much better with big hair," and I didn't know what he was meaning at the time. And then I did it, and I was like, "Oh my god, I look amazing!" So I started like layering my hair, and I had like all this hair going on. I'm just swirling around the place. It was insane. I can get that video. I don't. Can that do internet?
Sure.
Oh, okay, I'll show it. I don't mind. Let's see if I can pull it up.
I
How
think I
do
have turned
I-
off this one part. Yeah, did you get it back?
I don't know, did I hit the wrong thing? Yeah, you can see a number.
Okay, there we go.
Where are you?
Oh, you alright?
Yeah, my hard drive just fell away. Still good, still running.
Well, you have a lot of episodes.
Yeah, we do.
Oh, so you're in drag when you do that?
Yeah.
Show too.
How many wigs do you have?
I own about 7.
That's plenty.
Does this show sound? Oh, wait. Oh, this is it. That's Candace, actually.
First time, I can only fucking imagine what it's going to be like from here. That is amazing. So, she gets a round of applause. That's amazing. Alright. Well, this next queen is used to tons of applause. She is straight from heaven herself. Welcome, Nia DeAngel!
My necklace came off. Didn't care.
Well, you're really solid on heels. You weren't kidding. Damn, twirling backwards.
Yeah.
Right.
So, well, we got to see him perform. Yay!
Yay!
I'll show you a little bit of how tea time goes.
It's a really cute
what's my
mashup.
time? Okay. Oh, am I past time?
You have about 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Okay, I'll show you one. Just one. Let's see. It's a good one. I'll try this one.
Hi! Welcome to Tea Time, bitches. Hi. And we're here on episode 2 of season 4. Thank you guys so much. It doesn't. It's a show that never ends. But we're here to give you all this fierce and entertainment.
Yeah.
And right now we're reviewing RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yes, which is exciting and it's tedious.
It is quite tedious. If that's what you're meaning. The show itself is rather tedious.